Are you making the process easier or easy on yourself? Now, this is a topic that it's not really talked about, right? We talk a lot about mindset, skills, activities, action. What are you doing in the day? Your time management, the numbers, everything that we go through. But one thing that I've realized, and I'm just going by my most recent experiences, is that, this is what it comes down to me always. It always comes down to your mindset at any one time. And what is really mindset? It's what you're thinking about, okay, at any given moment. Now, obviously you guys know what that means, but I really want to pinpoint this, because if I can say anything, so you guys know what to do, right? But are you really making it easy on yourself? At this point, you guys pretty much know what to say. You have an idea of how to say it. You're getting better with the skills and everything. But if we have the skills, right, that we always work on, consistently. You guys are role playing. You're doing your thing every single day. But okay, over time, you guys get better with this, right? This is going to be experience, and over time, this is the worst part. This is what no one really wants to do in this business. No one wants to spend the amount of time it actually takes to get good in this business. They look at like me or like anyone, Soha or whatever, Patrick, and they just realize okay, I'm 10 years now in the business, but I really started to think about my skills only 3-4 years ago. So even 3 and 4 years, didn't happen in 1 year or 6 months. So, the skills happen over time. Your activities and what you do per day, okay? This is, are you making it easier on yourself with your activities? In other words, do you have everything set up? What does your prep time look like anyway? Now that you're getting in the habit of doing your calls and your 6 contacts per day, what I wanted to really think about now to take it to the next step, which is what I'll tell Jeff on the next call with you guys, is going to be, how are you setting it up for the next day? So instead of, imagine you can wake up, you go about your day, and it's just easy, it's effortless. In other words, you're just showing up, you're getting on the phone, you're making your calls. Would your day, if you had put it on would your day be better or would it be worse? Obviously it'd be better, right? That's obvious. So setup is important the day before. People talk about this, it's super hard, especially when you have kids, but regardless, when you either get home or before you leave for the day, is setting it up for the next day. Because the last thing you want to do is do any more work. You're like, okay, I'm done for the day. I don't want to do this anymore. But what I have done, and when I do have the time, it happens maybe once or twice a week, I'm setting up my day the night before or the afternoon before, right? As an example, I have a jam-packed afternoon after this. I have a listing appointment, and I have a showing at one of the buildings. So I'm not going to have time to do this today. But tomorrow, I have a free schedule. Yesterday, I had a free afternoon. What I did was I set it up. And that could be working on your database. It could be making it easier for you to call into into the database of what you, instead of even just going through the list, why not you just pick the top 25 you want to call for the day? Already have it ready for you to just jump in for the next day. And imagine you getting your 6 is going to be that much quicker. Because you already know, and you're not even thinking about who you're going to call. But thinking about who you're going to call, this is the other thing. You're going to call is probably the most daunting thing, in my opinion, that the agents have to go through when you're doing it the way that we're doing it. So are you making it easier for yourself with the activities? Are you setting it up the day before? Are you setting up the morning before? It's a lot easier to do it the day before you're going to show up. Everything is, then you'll be looking forward to, at least I do. I look forward to the next day and I don't have to worry about it, right? And then, are you making the action steps that you're doing better, making it easier for yourself? In other words, how primed are you getting your mindset for the day to make it easier on yourself to hit the targets that you have for the day, your 6? As an example, if you know that working out in the morning will get you closer, having better conversations and getting better leads and getting better quality of those conversations, then why don't you work out, right? Make it easier for you on the action. Just whatever you have to do. For me, it's right now going on the Peloton. Literally, it's going on the Peloton. I went, no joke. And this is what my former coach had said to me. He said, I called him this was like 3 weeks ago, and I said, David, I'm having a hard time figuring out, like, if I'm not connecting with some people, I'm not doing this. He's like, on a scale from 1 to 10, rate these different 5 pillars in your life. Physical was my lowest number. I had like a 2 on that number. He's like, okay, get on the Peloton at least 4 out of the 5 days. I did what he said. I did what my coach said. I made it easier for myself in the morning, and then I take 4 listings in a week out of nowhere. Like, what is that? How does that happen? So you're telling me that I just made it easier for myself to just execute in the day. I was on the Peloton this morning. I feel amazing right now, and I'm going to go into these appointments. It's not. I don't have to think. I'm making it easier for myself. So and then also we're going to talk about conversations. And so what I want to do is I want to go over now. Are you making it easier for yourself in conversations? So that's more prep. Like, how are you setting up your day? This is now conversations. And what I mean by that is when you're, again, knowing where, and I'm talking to you guys because now you have a little bit more experience, you have a little bit more understanding of how the conversation should go and lead you down the path to get you to the end result of getting either an appointment or a contract signed. And so what I mean by conversations, like, are you just setting up the appointment? Like, instead of having to go through, sometimes I realize, and I know I'm a big proponent of pre-qualifying, making sure they're super qualified before you go out with them, and you should. And now even more so, by the way, let me just throw this in there, every single buyer that you're working with has got to talk to a lender, no matter what. Interest rates, as they keep on going up the way they are, I don't care what price range they're in, they have to talk to a lender before you see them, no matter what. Because it's happening right now, where things are being fluctuated so quickly that you can be literally one day, I could be getting a property to buy. The next day, all of a sudden, interest rates moved up a half a basis point, and then I can't qualify anymore. Regardless if you locked in the rate or not. This is huge now as we go into increased interest rates in terms of that environment. That's a side note, but I just want to throw that out there as I'm talking about it to make it easier for you to do what you have to do. So going into this, when it comes to lenders, it's going to hopefully just facilitate the deal a lot quicker. But the point is that if you have an opportunity to either get an appointment that you can already tell and you can do your back end work before with qualifying later, that's okay. I think what I'm really trying to get at, and what I've realized at least recently, again, and this is what I knew, but I just had to get my mindset around it, is that am I just putting more roadblocks in between me and getting a contract signed? So the question I would ask myself is, how many roadblocks, okay, are you putting in front of you? Or in other words, releasing your brakes is what I read a book called Release Your Brakes. It was awesome. And what that book was talking about is releasing your brakes. Is, in other words, you have mental, or there's some other process or lack of experience, something that is holding you back from getting more contracts signed. And that is, it could be a multitude of reasons. It could be skills, it could be your activities, it could be your action, it could be your mindset. But releasing your brakes, you gotta just think about that for a second. What am I doing in the process? Okay, I want to get 5 buyers into contract this month. What have I been doing? How can I make my job easier? What can I do? What do I need? And then go to us. And then reach out to Teddy and I. This is what we're here for. If you have a situation that you don't feel like, hey, maybe, I'm going on these appointments. Okay, let's say you have 4 appointments in a week. And you get no contracts as a result of that. There's got to be a reason why. There's no offers being made, at least. Getting accepted is a different story. Making offers, I don't see enough offers being made. That's another thing too. I don't know why there's not enough offers being made. You have to get them to write. And this is what I want to talk about too. Get them to write. It doesn't matter if they don't get accepted. The whole point of having a team the way that we do is so that you don't have to write up the contracts. You just use your words to get them to at least attempt to make an offer on something and see what happens. Okay, so I want to play this out then. Let's say that we have a client that says, well, why, I don't even like the property. Why would I even want to buy it? Well, you don't have to buy this one. What property out of the 7 that I showed you today would you like to make an offer on? Why would I do that, though? The reason is I really want you to see what it's going to be like in negotiation so that when you do find the right property, you know exactly what to expect. So what offer would you like to make on this? And just go right for it. Now, why would you do that still? It seems like it's wasting time. But again, take what I'm saying and use it when you know the opportunity presents itself. They could just be totally like off and be like, no, I don't like anything here. Okay, that's fine. But when we do find the right property and you know that there's a buying signal, you got to know your signals. There are certain words that these buyers are saying that are signaling to you that they want to write up an offer, but they're just not sure about something. And they don't even want to show their cards to you about what's going on. So what signals are you hearing to make your job easier so that when they start writing, that you can get more conversions, right? Or that's conversations, but conversions is the word, right? So like, that's the point. And that's really like the lesson today is if you really sit down and also too, like I said, like how much time are you guys spending like honestly thinking about what you're doing? I think that we're so involved in our jobs every single day and there are goals to do. But if you think about it, right? You guys now have a new target. It's 6 contacts in a day that you have to get, or conversations, and you pick like one major lead in there. If you have 6 conversations, we already figured it out. It takes about an hour of time. If you have an hour of time out of the day, you have another 12 hours or 13 or whatever, 10 hours to go. What else are you doing with your time? So think about what it is that you're doing every single day to make your job easier. That's it.